You, Judith, and a very happy new year to everyone today. This has been kind of an interesting week in my life because I had cataract surgery, part one, on Tuesday. And for those of you, probably quite a few of you have already had cataract surgery, and many of you are probably going to be thinking about cataract surgery because there is nothing you can do, no exercise, no vitamin, no drug, no nothing that can change the relentless march of time on the lens of our eyes. The surgery is quite simple, 5 minutes. They take the lens out, they put the lens in, but there's something about, touching your eye. It's just like, oh, so it was very quick and easy and painless. The next day, I went in for my post-op checkup. So she says to me, well, take off your glasses and cover your old eye and read the chart. And as I'm sitting there, all I can see is this glow of light and four tiny ants. And I said to the technician, are those supposed to be alphabet? And she said, yes, I think they are. I said, well, tell you the truth, I can't see any of it. And as I was sitting there in that momentary flash, as so often happens, I thought, oh my gosh, this is such a great metaphor for the new year. Because in a very real sense, the new year is kind of a haze with maybe four little dots of hopes and dreams and plans that we already have set into motion. But we really can't see it, can we? The truth of the matter is, until tonight at midnight, 12:01 a.m., we will not begin to create the stories of 2024. Right now, it's just sort of a haze in the distance. And we're going to talk more about walking into that haze and moving forward into the new year next Sunday. But today, what also challenges me is as one eye is healing, the other eye still needs glasses. And I thought, isn't that true of 2023? When you're in the moment of something, it's really hard to see how it all works out in your life. And we've all had this happen. We were late for an appointment, we were all upset, and yet we met our new best friend. Something happened that we never thought we would do before, and our life changed in a whole new way, in a whole new direction. But when we put our glasses on, the year, so to speak, is magnified, right? That's the whole object of glasses, is that it magnifies what I'm looking at so that I can see it more clearly. And I can see more clearly the course and the trajectory of 2023 now that I sit here in December of 2023, as opposed to December 31st of 2022. There's a lot of twos in all those numbers, isn't there? And I thought to myself, wow, how interesting. And this is why I love this particular service, and especially writing the letters to God. Because just the other day, I saw my letter. I put mine because I'm online, and I encourage those of you who are online, as Myrtle Fillmore used to tell us, you put it in the Bible, because what you are symbolically doing is putting your letter to God in the hands of God. You're not supposed to pull it back out and keep reading it and fixing it. You simply put it in the hands of God until 12 months from now. So just the other day, I read my Burning Bowl letter, and I was so surprised because December 31st of 2022, my husband and I believed, because of all kinds of things, we needed to move back to California. After living in Oklahoma for 15 years, we were going to have to downsize into a house that was half the size of what we have, and that we were going to have to make this move to avoid some rather unpleasant tax situations because it was out of state. We were out of state. And so the whole letter, last year's Burning Bowl letter, is this cathartic, oh my God, I'm trying to turn this over to you. What are we going to do? We're going to have, may we have peace in the move and may all things come out right. And it just went on and on and on, as you can well imagine, all that angst at the moment. A week later, we went to our tax accountant and the real estate agent, and they said, I think that tax law has changed. So, doing some research, yes, in fact, the tax law has changed. And so, what we thought was going to be sort of the big climactic story of 2023 went poof up into smoke. And I had totally forgotten about it until I read that Burning Bowl letter. And my husband and I were laughing about it last night. It's like, can you imagine how upset we were last year at this time? So some things that seem so important in the moment don't become so. On the other hand, some things that were very tiny took on this huge momentum. Now, last year at this time, one of the things I really was very passionate about is my health was not where I wanted it to be. And so a friend of mine had gotten into this virtual challenge thing, and I thought, for a joke, I would do it. You see all those medals on the back wall? I earned them. They're exercise medals. I started as a joke last January, and there are 17 of them now, and they represent over 3,000 miles that I have either walked or biked or jogged or elliptical or whatever over the course of a year. And not only that, but it was, and that in itself was a really great thing. And my health has significantly improved because of it. But it's also that I've become an active participant in that online community. My circle of friends has widely increased because I'm one of the major contributors of that online group. Never on January 1st of 2023 would I have said that I was going to do all of that and all of the work and all of the time and all of the sweat that it took to have that goal accomplished. So what we're doing today, let's not hurry into January. It'll get here. Trust me, it's coming. But we're going to reflect. Because what the Burning Bowl service is all about, we talk about it as release. I'm going to use another word. I'm going to call it reset. We've got to reset ourselves to zero. Now, for some of you, you're looking back on the year of 2023 and saying, I'm so glad this year is over with. I just got to get out of this year. So resetting to zero is kind of a nice thing. It's like, good, let's start all over again. But for those of you, myself included, who have had a really good year of 2023, or from our perception of such, it's really hard to reset to zero. Because you see, in our culture, we go from good, better, best, bestest, grave and bester, okay? And that's part of the problem with healing too, isn't it? Healing is not linear. I mean, this eye today is very dry and kind of giving me a little bit of problems. Yesterday it was fine. Tomorrow it'll be, who knows what it'll be. That's the nature of a healing journey. We cannot predict it. We must just simply allow. So resetting to zero or letting go and releasing becomes a kind of an entirely new dynamic because, we think we can let it all go. I remember when I was first in ministry, we used to hand out a full sheet of paper. And people would start writing. They'd come into the church service before it even started. They'd start writing, I'm going to release in this button. And turn the page up. Can I have another page? And they'd write and write and write. And I thought, wow, these people have really got stuff going on. But over the course of the years, what I realized is the reality is we are not capable in our human space to let go of all we think we're going to let go of. We get in this heady mindset. I'm going to let go of this. I'm going to let go of that. But in reality, the heart said, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And we have to begin to ask ourselves that age-old question that's not really about healing and releasing per se, as it is about change. I've really gotten to sort of work with this issue of healing and recognizing that we kind of tend to sort of gloss it over. I'm not sure I'm explaining this as well as I would like here because I'm sort of in process with it. But healing really means we change. Now, let's say, for example, with my eye, I've had to change and be adaptable to the way things are happening right now, even though they're a little bit disconcerting and uncomfortable. And I have another surgery to go through in another week and a half. But am I really willing to change my behavior? Am I really willing to invest my energy in something new? Can I release what I've invested in? For example, can I release my energy that I've put all this energy into the political situation? Can I release my energy about those people at work that treat me not nasty? Can I release all my energy about this is the greatest year I've ever had? It'll never be greater than this. How can I reset to zero if I can't release? And we struggle to release, my friends. Make no mistake about it. The size of the paper should probably be about a quarter of what it really is, because our humanness is not really wanting to change. So let me ask you I'm going to ask some questions before we go into our meditation. And the idea is to kind of begin to stir the soul, begin to stir you and have you thinking about some of these things. Where did you invest your energy this year? Can you say that your energy was full of gratitude, that this year, no matter what had happened, you could write the chapter of your life story and say it was a year of gratitude, no matter how it looked or what it was all about? What did you learn from the trials and tribulations that you went through this year? One of the things that Patrick and I really realized was going through the process of, excuse me, this potential move to California. We had to listen better to each other. We had to communicate more thoroughly. We had to work a little harder. And when it all kind of blew up and it was like over and done with, we could step back and say, we learned a lot about each other and ourselves in working together as a couple. And that was really valuable information. What did you learn from the trials and tribulations, the difficulties of your life this past year? Was there a milestone? Maybe it was a big birthday, an anniversary, the birth of a child, the death of a loved one, whatever it is. All of these things change not only the trajectory of our life, but the momentum. For example, if a very dear and near loved one dies, the trajectory of our life kind of slows down. We become into this hyper slowness that death always seems to accompany death. Yet, if there was a new birth, there's new energy, there's new life. We want to go see the baby. We want to be involved. There's a different trajectory and a whole different energy that comes with it. How about some self-reflection? Have you been able to forgive yourself for all your shortcomings and mistakes? Here's one that really challenges me. Can I forgive my body for aging? Have I taken my life for granted? There'll be another day. I don't have to worry. I'm going to just sit here and zone out. There'll be another day to do that. Have I been too self-absorbed? It's all about me, don't you know? Have I been too judgmental or too critical? And on the other side of the spectrum, do I see this as the best year of my life, and therefore no year could be better than this? When God's plan for us is always greater and greater good. even in the trials, even in the tribulations, even in the times when we stumble and fall, even in the times when we don't think we're doing so well. We live in this little box. And God says, open the box. That's what January 1st is all about. Open the box. You can't see what's in the box very clearly, but there's new things unfolding at each and every moment. So I want you to move from all this stuff that you think you're going to release down into the heart to listen for what God is calling you, what your heart needs to let go of to feel lighter, to feel unburdened. And our process is simply this. In a moment, we're going to have a time of meditation. And at the end of that meditation, I will invite you to write whatever it is you are going to release on your release slip. Now, if you have a lot, it can be symbols, letters, numbers, stars. You don't have to write the whole encyclopedia. Then I ask you to simply fold it in half and put it aside. For at the end of our service, there will be a process by which we will burn your actual slips. And for those of us who are online, I invite you to do so at home. And we're going to end our service not in the typical way with a peace song, but with quiet. And as people come forward and burn their slip, I invite you to kind of maybe go back to your seat and just have a moment of feeling that release and knowing you are free and you are unlimited. So now let's set all distractions aside and get into that place where pens and papers, all the stuff you're thinking in your head, just put it aside and begin to breathe slowly, listening for the words and the vibration and the message that's playing on your heart. It is a song, it is a vibration, it is an attunement with the universal one. Relax your body, close your eyes, and let your attention float from the head to the heart, to the very center of your being, where you are one with the holy, the place where you and God alone meet in silence. Living Spirit of God, breath of life that we breathe, here we sit, open and willing to cooperate with your healing grace. We ask for the courage to step forward into the new year, free of the baggage of the past. As we gently breathe in, we make room for the presence of God, trusting in the inflow to soothe and strengthen us. And we gently release the breath and all that we hold and that holds us back from receiving in the new year. As we rest in the quiet, we release our focus on anything other than the guidance and direction of Spirit. Listen deeply. Listen carefully. Reveal to each one of us what we hold on to, what sorrow, what pain, what anger, what betrayal, what failure, what justification of rightness. As we breathe a little deeper, reveal to us, O living mystery. Search us in the innermost depths of our being. You know us even in the places where we don't know ourselves. and what pain holds on to us, the expectations of others, the pain we've caused them, the disappointment, the heartache, the betrayal. And what success, past glory, keeps us from entering the new year always looking back, never looking forward? What must we let go of to reset our expectations to zero this coming year? Reveal what needs to be revealed and change what needs to be changed. For God longs with a ceaseless longing to perfect us, to refine the rough edges of our soul, to breathe more life into our lives. Willingness is all that is being asked of us to cement our intention of the heart. And so Spirit asks each and every one of us, do you really want to be changed by turning it over to God? And now I invite you to open your eyes, to quietly write upon your release slip that which has been revealed in order for you to experience a rebirth, to be truly changed at depth. Let the paper take away your burdens. Feel them being removed from your shoulders. Let them go. Let them go. Bless your list. The revelations which has come from your inner work have blessed you with greater understanding and an awakening of yourself. Fold the paper in half and place it nearby so you can release it into the fire later on in our service. So let's just breathe into that space. We've let it go now. There's just something about, we can take that big exhale that's symbolic of releasing. So the second part of our service is to write our letter to God. And this letter you will write, put it in, fold it, put it in the envelope when you're finished. We will collect them at the end of the service, or as I suggested, those of you who are at home on Zoom, place it in the Bible as you are placing it into God's hands. And around December of 2024, we will send those letters back to you for some very interesting revelations of what was so important in your life today, which may or may not have manifested as you thought over the course of moving through the year 2024. So let's just take a time. Again, we're not wanting to be in the head, which is where we usually are with these kind of things. It's like, what is our heart? What's speaking to our heart today? Just place it on your lap for a minute. Just place that paper and put your hands on top of it. You were in the flow of spirit. That flow released things. And now there's a vacuum. And now Spirit wants to infill into your life. Don't edit. We want to go back and say, well, that's not exactly what I meant. Nope, just right, just right. Let your hand be connected to your heart and let the words simply flow. So take a breath and affirm that we are open and receptive to guidance and instruction. Let's affirm together, I am open and receptive. I am open and receptive. O holy birther, mother of all, today a tiny seed of new life has been planted in our hearts. We trust in its purpose. We are open to its unfolding energy within our being. And we're listening to your still small voice. And so now I invite you to take the next about 5 minutes and to write your letter to God. Don't hurry, just allow. Just simply allow the words to come. When you're finished writing, fold your letter and place it in the envelope. Be sure to address it to yourself and seal it. And we will collect them. The French poet Rainier Marie Rilke reminds us, do not seek the answers which cannot be given to you because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything, to live the questions now. Let your heart not be troubled, neither let it be afraid. As we move into this new year, bold and brave, open to this chapter of life's next adventure. A very happy new year. And for those of you in the sanctuary, I invite you to begin to come forward and bless and release your slips. And this concludes our service on Zoom.